Okay, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube, today we are going to do a walk around of a Bobcat T590. It's one of my more requested videos, and now the machine is back in the yard. I'm finally getting around to it. It took me quite a while. So what we're going to do is we're going to discuss the T590 and the T595, and the reason being is because they're both the same machine in a sense. The T595 is slightly different. So the first thing we'll go over is the T590 is in length 133 inches long, it's 68 inches wide, and the weight of a T590 is just under 8,000 pounds. The weight of a T595 is 8,055 pounds. So you got about 100 some odd pounds difference in the weight. As far as the horsepower, a T590 features the 66 horsepower Tier 4 engine, while the T595 is 74 horsepower respectively. Fuel tank capacity for the T590 is 24.8 gallons, just shy of 25, and the tank on a 595 will get you 36.5 gallons, so that's actually pretty nice. Now the reason being is that the 595 can lift more, so they want more weight in the machine physically to help it get that more of weight. The speed, regular speed is 7.3 miles an hour. If you have 2-speed, it's 10.5. As far as the hydraulic pumps go, standard pump will give you 17 gallons a minute, high flow will give you 26.7. The rated capacity of these machines, the 590 can lift 2,100 pounds, which would give it a tipping load of 6,000 pounds, while a 595 can lift 2,200 pounds, and that would give it a tipping load of 6,285, so just under 6,300 pounds. And the reach is 119 inches, so it's roughly 10 feet, a little under that. Give or take. I could actually do that for you real fast with 119 inches. It's 9 feet 11 inches, so like I said, just shy of 10 feet it could reach. Okay, so the T595 will feature a counterweight kit that will go right around there, and the T590, obviously the counterweight kit is optional. You can get either the 12-inch tracks, they're just a little over 12 inches, or the 16-inch tracks for extra flotation. Both of those machines, you can do that. Okay, so let's start taking the walk around. So you can do a 4-point tie down for the machine. This is the D-ring to run your auxiliary hoses for attachments, combination bucket, grapple, auger, etc. So what I like to do with the loaders is I like to bring a smooth edge bucket and a bucket with teeth to the job, but I don't like to have to carry them separately. Basically, if you got a 66-inch flat bucket and a 66-inch digging bucket, you wouldn't be able to put one inside the other. You'd have to tow them separately and tie them down separately. So what I do to avoid that is I had my father get a 74-inch smooth bucket and a 66-inch digging bucket. Now this, you have your lift arm stop here. The hydraulic oil sight glass is right there, so that's nice. This is an interim Tier 4 engine. That's your serial ID plate is slightly above that. You got a grease fitting here, there's a grease fitting here, and all the way up there. Now I like how the way they put it through the side, so you don't have to climb on top of the track to get to it. This grease fitting is a little bit of a hassle to reach. This one as well. They really should have put the fittings on the outsides like they did up there. I don't know why they didn't. And over here as well. So they really could have. Fitting is back here, so we were able to confirm that. This is a standard suspension. It does not have roller suspension. Your fan where the machine breathes, this is one of the vents. Got the same vent on the other side. This is the back. So they put this big piece of steel here as a bumper, and it protrudes slightly out beyond the tailgate so you don't bang up the tailgate. This tailgate has a very interesting story. I'll save it for another time, but I will tell you about it. So you got your lights back here, which is standard of Bobcat. You've got your backup alarm, which is here. Sound suppression foam. Okay, so we'll take a look at this machine. It has the air filter is right here. Battery is here. It's in reach, but a little tough to get to. If we look over here, basic engine block. This is the starter. Oil fill. Oil filter. Fuel filter's up here. Fuel fill is here, nice in the tailgate where you can lock it, keep it safe. These are your injectors over here. Remember, this engine is mounted transversely, so it's not like other engines. That's all I really see here. If we pick up this plate. So this plate is removable. What you do is you pull this plate out. I really don't want to do it, but your coolant fill is right there, dead ahead, and your radiator and your hydraulic oil cooler are stacked here. And that's the hydraulic oil fill. I don't know if you guys are gonna, there you go, now you can see that cap dead center in the back. That's where you would fill up your hydraulic oil. So here we go, typical Bobcat there, flimsy, junky steel. Alright, I'll have to figure this out. Must have slid out of its spot. It's going to be impossible to do with one hand. Your exhaust and muffler are here. So like I said, this is pre-Tier 4 final, so you don't have any of the diesel particulate filter, any of that nonsense. Although this machine is a little difficult to start in the colder weather. Okay, so this machine has the power bob-tach system. You see the piston here, the levers are here and here. If your power bob-tach system should fail, just pop off the two hoses and you could use these manually if you have to. This is your auxiliary hydraulic cluster. So you have your standard connectors here and here. This is your 7-pin electric kit, and this is to run Bobcat for a little while. They made jackhammers or small hydraulic driven tools that you'd hook up to the machine. My lights are up there. The cab is slightly domed. So getting in is actually relatively simple. The front door, those are the hooks. My father takes it off for the summertime. Alright, so looking at the cluster here inside, this is the windshield wiper fluid fill. You have your HVAC controls here for heat and AC. Over here is the spot for the radio. You got vents down there. Storage compartment is over there. That's your operator's manual. Nice big rear window. Visibility is a little iffy, as you can see, but it's decent. Got a nice size window. The top window is slightly larger. On the M2 series machines, it's even larger. You could check out one of my other videos I did where I showed that. More vents. That's the interior convenience light. That's falling down. There's another storage compartment. And this is a cup holder right over there. You got your radio speakers here and here mounted low. This machine is standard hand and foot controls, typical Bobcat. This is the power bob-tach. This locks it, unlocks it. If you had ISO or standard controls, foot pedals or hand controls, that switch would be over in this position here. So before we get to that, parking brake is here. If you had a strobe light or any other accessories, they would be located here. The windshield wiper button would be located here on the door, so you don't have that on the inside. On these M series machines, they push the cab up 2 inches, and it makes a pretty big difference, as you can see, for the cutting edge to the bucket. And you see how they lowered that front step to get in versus how they did it on the S185. That bar would have went straight across all the way up here. Kind of obstructs your view a little bit. You still get decent visibility, but with the two inches up and this being down, you got pretty good visibility of the cutting edge. So they did do a nice job on that, and the way they sloped these arms, the way they did, gives you a pretty decent visibility. And as you can see, you got pretty good visibility out the sides. A lot better than it was before. Okay, so let's talk about the instrumentation package on this loader. So this machine, it does not have the auto idle, so your throttle is still the stick throttle here, like this. On the newer machines, it would be a turn dial, similar to the excavators, and you would have auto idle. This machine just has neither of those things. It was just before they came out with it. So this switch, it's no longer buttons. It's now a turn dial, like a key, kind of like a new car would have. So now it's prompting you to enter the code. So I'm going to do that. So you see the screen says code. So I'm now going to enter the code. And now, since it's cold out, as you can see, it's counting down the glow plugs. So I'm going to start the machine so I can take you through the cluster for the instrumentation. Now it switches over to hours, and that means you're good to start it. So now the machine is running. I have the seat bar down, so if I wanted to unlock the controls, I'd push this green button, press to operate. See how the red lights went off up there? And the green light is on. That means we are good to go. And if the seat bar was up and you were operating a backhoe attachment, you lift the seat bar up. See how everything is now disengaged? Light is off, warning lights are on. Push this. See how the track disappeared to lock it? Green light is still not active. But, as you can see, you can roll the machine forward and reverse. Push the button again, and now the traction is on. So as you can see, it won't move. It's locked. Okay, this is the temperature gauge. This is your fuel gauge. This is the button for the instrumentation. So if I push this button, it's starting to get a little bit dark out. Turn on the dome light, maybe that'll help. Now we're going to cycle through it. So that gives you engine RPM. So if I throttle up, throttle down, that's battery volts. That's for service and maintenance. And warning, active codes are none. And now it flips you back to actual hours of the machine. This controls your lights. This is front and red. This is for all lights, so your white night lights will come on. Over here is your auto idle. This machine doesn't have it. You can turn it on and off. And this is for the auxiliary hydraulics. They're active. Now they're off. So that does it for this side of the panel. So now we'll switch it over to this side. Now, the good thing is that this machine does have an error code, so I can actually take you through that, which is great. So this is the code, this is the screen that it'll be on normally. So that's the date, time. I have the master code logged in. This is how many hours the master code has been active in this machine working, and the job clock, which can be reset. So this is going to give you, this is hydraulic oil pressure and temperature, battery voltage, and that's the engine oil pressure. I might have them backwards, so forgive me if I do, but that's basically controlling the hydraulic oil and your engine oil temperatures and pressures. Okay, and this is the same thing. This is engine RPM. So 1200, throttle it up, throttle it down. That's your engine RPM. So now if you have any active warnings, so this is the Bobcat, if you have that, if you don't, this is your vitals. So that's, again, engine RPM, hydraulic oil pressure, temperature. This is engine oil, temperature, pressure, and the battery volts. So basically the vitals is the same thing as the other side. Flip again, it says no active warnings. Now I know there is an active warning, it's just not picking it up right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press the button that's next to this screen here. I'm going to push this, and now it's going to take me into warnings history. Okay, so now just before when I started it, when it was cold, it gave me code number 1. I'll push the number 1, and it says air filter plugged. So I know that my air filter is clogged, and it was clogged today when I was using it, so I'm going to change the air filter. I know now, this is the code, this is what's telling me what's wrong, and it tells me who is the operator. So I entered my code, which would be Mike, and the hours that it set it at. So if you had an issue with the machine for a long time that everyone was ignoring, then you would be able to see when the code started. So if one of your operators is being a jerk and not telling you that there's an issue, you can now go back and access how many hours the machine had, and you could even keep scrolling down for all of these codes. So now let's see number 5, which is H4722, which means 8-volt sensor supply out of range low. There was an issue either with the battery or some type of connection that has since been repaired, but it was obviously with my father because it's the master code. And see, the hour that it came on to him is 2039, and you'll see the hours now is 2067. So you know roughly it came on 30 hours ago. So that's quite a few days to have that code. But like I said, it's been fixed by Bobcat. But that's my point with this warning screen, is that it'll tell you everything you need to know. And see, this is telling you air filter is not connected. There's an issue with the air filter. Or the air, see, so this is the fuel solenoid was malfunctioning. The machine wouldn't start when it was very cold a couple of days ago. So it's telling you that the fuel solenoid has an error, it's shut off. So that means that there must be something wrong with the fuel or something wrong with the filter, that the solenoid is having an issue. Maybe there's a connection problem, but it basically will take you through the issues that you may or may not have. This will give you the clocks, languages, downgrade, or display settings. So the display settings is basically, you know, display in English or US. Downgrade, if you wanted to make this panel not be deluxe, just give the operator the absolute basics. You can downgrade the panel so he couldn't access all this. Different languages, the clock, you can change that, have an alarm clock, blah, blah, blah. Password lockouts. So if we go to that screen, I'll just take you through it. Just a moment. Okay, so now this will take you through the user settings. If you want the machine lock on or off, so you can take the lock off, and now the machine would just start by turning this key. Lock means you need the code. If you have high flow, you can lock it off. If you have the high flow, now this machine doesn't have it, but if you don't want some of these operators, like let's say you don't want Dennis to have it, then you would lock it. If you want him to have it, then you leave it unlocked. He would not be able to access this screen with his code. He would need the master code. And the 2-speed is the exact same deal. Okay? Okay. Attachments. This will take you through the different attachments, how to operate them, how to go through them. So as you can see here, different attachments. Got the backhoe. If you push efficient digging, so see, it'll tell you a little bit about the attachment. Nothing really that spectacular. Okay, so that basically will run you through the deluxe instrumentation panel that's available on both of these machines. So as you can see, the power bob-tach button, push the button, levers come up, push the button down, levers go down. So that basically will take you through that. Okay. So guys, that will conclude the walk around of the Bobcat T590 Track Loader. If you want any more information, you could always ask me any questions, comments, or you can contact your local Bobcat dealer if you want to request a demonstration or anything like that. And I hope this video helps you guys out. Please remember, thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and comment. And if you want to see more of these videos, you want to see any machines, if I have access to them, I will certainly make them. Okay, thank you guys. Have a nice night.